Welcome to HH28, where we unravel the secrets of self-discovery and matchmaking. We are Hugh and Heather,
two master holistic guides dedicated to helping you navigate the worlds of numerology, astrology, and personality in pursuit of meaningful connections.
Welcome to your personalized deep dive. Today we're going to be really honing in on the energy of the number 5.
I like it, honing in.
And more specifically, how it plays out in your life.
Yes.
We know you love to see the full picture, get all the juicy details.
Absolutely.
So, let's dive into the world of the 5.
What I think is so captivating about numerology, and particularly the number 5, is that it's not just a number, it's an energetic signature. It's like this vibrational hum that influences your personality, your relationships, even just like the way you move throughout the world.
Right, it's a whole vibe. And for 5s, that vibe is all about adventure and freedom and always, seeking new experiences.
It's that constant desire for more.
Yeah, I'm already intrigued. How about you?
Absolutely. And this is, I think, amplified by the fact that 5 is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, intellect. So you can already start to see how that kind of quick-wittedness, the way that 5s express themselves, how they connect with others.
Totally.
It all ties back to that mercurial energy.
And that tracks with what you're saying about how you're really drawn to writing and travel, which are both very Mercury-ruled realms. Like you have this built-in radar for anything new and exciting and intellectually stimulating.
Precisely. And that restless energy of Mercury translates into some incredible strengths for the 5. One that comes to mind, especially looking at your chart here, is adaptability.
Adaptability, yeah. The superpower of navigating change.
With grace.
Yes, with grace and even excitement. In fact, the material we have here points to an example, like imagine a sudden career shift. While, some people might panic, a 5 might see that as a thrilling chance to reinvent themselves.
Now that's resilience. And speaking of thrilling, let's talk about adventure, that adventurous spirit of the 5. You mentioned you're drawn to trying new foods, exploring different cultures.
Oh, absolutely. It's like wanderlust is baked into my DNA. It's not just about travel. It's that innate curiosity, the openness to new experiences in every aspect of life. It's like having that internal compass always pointed towards, like, what's new, what's exciting.
Always.
And speaking of which, another strength our notes highlight is communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, with Mercury as the ruling planet, 5s are often very, very gifted communicators.
Yeah.
They can articulate their thoughts in such a captivating way. It's effortless the way they draw people in.
Right.
And that charisma just lends itself so well to, storytelling. They can weave narratives that are both insightful and engaging. They have that natural ability.
And it's not just about talking. It's about genuinely connecting with others, which makes them, really great in social settings.
They're social butterflies.
Yeah, flitting from one conversation to the next, but in a good way. They're bringing that energy.
They are, and that's where I think that natural leadership starts to kind of...
Totally, yeah. 5s often fall into leadership roles.
They do, because they inspire, they motivate others.
Yeah, it's that infectious energy.
Yes.
They just bring it.
It's contagious.
It is. So it's not always about formal titles or positions. It's just this innate ability to get people on board with a shared vision or even just, light up a room.
Think about it. Have you ever just naturally taken the lead on a project or, brought people together through shared interests?
All the time.
There you go.
Okay, so next up on our list of 5 superpowers, being dynamic and energetic, but energy is practically woven into your numerological DNA, so it's not that surprising.
Right. It's like, it's almost expected, but it's that spark, that zest for life. It's inspiring to be around.
You bring a good energy to this deep dive, I'll tell you that.
Well, I try. I appreciate that.
But our notes mention that 5s are natural innovators, like always challenging the status quo, pushing boundaries, seeing possibilities where others might just see roadblocks.
I think that entrepreneurial spirit, And that reminds me, you mentioned your passion for photography.
Yes.
And how you love capturing those unique perspectives and expressing yourself visually. That right there, that speaks volumes about that creative energy of the 5.
Yeah, it's like that creative spark is always burning, driving you to explore and experiment and express yourself authentically.
100%.
And, that brings us to another piece of the 5 puzzle, right? It's that emphasis on personal growth.
Always evolving, learning, expanding their horizons.
It's like their whole existence is geared toward that. It's pretty cool, actually.
It is. It's about, not resisting the ebb and flow of life, but learning how to ride the waves. and coming out stronger, wiser.
Okay, that's a beautiful way to put it. But let's be real, it can't all be sunshine and rainbows, right? Like
Yeah.
the material also mentions some challenges that come with being a 5, right? I mean, any powerful force needs a little bit of balance.
Precisely. Every strength has its shadows. And for the 5, one of the most common struggles is that very restlessness we were just talking about.
That inner engine that's always humming, making it hard to, like, slow down, relax, commit.
Exactly. It can be hard to just be in the moment sometimes.
Yeah.
And that can manifest in so many ways.
Totally.
You mentioned, for example, that you find it difficult to stick to a routine.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like my to-do list has a to-do list.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a classic example of how that 5 energy can play out.
Yeah.
And for some, it might be difficulty finishing projects.
Yeah.
Because they're always on to the next exciting thing. For others, it might show up in their relationships, that fear of confinement, needing space, making commitment a challenge.
That's so interesting, though, because the 5s, they crave connection, right? They excel in social settings, but they still have that deep need for independence.
It is. It's that dance, right?
Yeah.
Finding that balance between freedom and commitment.
You got to find that sweet spot.
You do,
Huh.
which is where self-awareness is so crucial.
So it's not about, like, suppressing those natural 5 tendencies. It's about working with them.
Yes, exactly. It's understanding them and finding healthy ways to navigate them. So, for example, you mentioned struggling with scattered focus sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever considered incorporating mindfulness practices?
I dabble in meditation, but consistency is not my forte. Let's just say that.
And that's understandable, especially for a 5. Even short bursts can make a world of difference.
Yeah.
It's about creating those moments of pause, right?
So, like, hitting the refresh button for your mind.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, since we're talking about relationships,
Yes.
let's talk about numerological compatibility, which I know you were super curious about.
Oh my gosh, yes. The material you sent about how different numbers work together in relationships, so fascinating.
It's like this cosmic compatibility guide.
It really is.
Because each number, it carries its own energy signature, and when you blend those together, romance, friendships, even business partnerships, it creates this really specific dynamic.
Totally. And the material specifically called out that 5s are generally drawn to other people who are independent.
Right.
Adventurous can kind of match that zest for life.
They need someone who can keep up.
Exactly. So someone who, like, really loves routine is probably not a good fit.
Probably not. 5s need a little bit of excitement, a little novelty in their relationship.
For sure. And there were a few pairings you specifically wanted to unpack.
We have time. Let's do it.
Okay, perfect. The 5 and 1 pairing really jumped out at me. Dynamic and exciting, but, there's always a but, right?
Well, the challenge there really lies in finding that balance, that individual independence, but also that need for connection.
Right.
Because both 1 and 5, very independent.
They both need their space to really thrive.
Exactly. Open communication, willingness to compromise.
Key ingredient.
Essential for this one to work. You also mentioned 5 and 7.
Ooh, yes. That one's interesting because it seems like such a contrast in energy,
Totally. You have the 5 on the move, always seeking stimulation, and then the 7, more introspective.
Drawn to solitude, deep thought.
Right. So it's almost like trying to mix oil and water.
Yeah.
Like
you can do it, but
it requires a very delicate hand.
It does. So the potential clash there is that need for, like, constant stimulation versus quiet contemplation.
Right.
But then again, it could also be a source of growth.
100%.
Yeah.
The 5 can bring a little lightness, a little spontaneity.
And the 7 offers that depth.
It is. Now, we can't forget about the master numbers.
Oh, yes. 11, 22, 33. I was really curious about those.
The master numbers.
Yes. Those pairings, it sounds like they can be incredibly potent, but
intense.
Yes. Intense, but rewarding, challenging.
It's like, leveling up in the game of numerology.
I love that analogy.
Right. They add this whole other layer of complexity, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely want to dive into 5 paired with 11.
Okay.
Being this, like, deeply spiritual and intuitive connection.
It is.
But again, sensing a but coming.
There's always a but. So the challenge here lies in bridging the gap, right? Between the 5's practicality, that very grounded nature, and the 11, which is much more, I'd say, ethereal.
More idealistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's almost like pairing, a builder with a dreamer.
Oh, I like that.
Right. So the 5 might find the 11 a little frustrating at times, like, come on, let's get real. And the 11 might feel limited.
Totally.
By that need for concrete action.
Yeah.
But if they can meet in the middle, turning those dreams into tangible realities. Now, another one you mentioned was 5 and 22.
Yes. The powerhouse combination.
Oh, yes.
For manifestation, achieving big goals, all of that. What's the vibe of a 22? I feel like we haven't touched on that yet.
So the 22, often called the master builder, right?
Yeah.
It's all about turning visions into concrete things.
Bring it to life.
Building those structures that last.
Wow. So you take that energy and you pair it with the 5s, like boundless energy, adaptability, drive.
Unstoppable.
It sounds like a recipe for success.
It really is. The 5 brings the innovation, the adaptability. The 22 brings the strategy, the organizational skills.
It's like the 5 is the architect with these amazing grand designs.
I love that.
And the 22 is the one on the ground, making it happen.
Making it a reality.
Building it.
Yes. Each number with its own strengths.
Yeah.
Before we move on, what are your initial thoughts on this? I know it's a lot to take in.
Honestly, it's a lot to process, but in a good way. Like, I'm really starting to see how all these different combinations, they create these fascinating dynamics, you know? But it's also a good reminder that, like, there's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to compatibility, right?
Numerology gives us these valuable insights, but it's not about, like, putting people in a box.
Totally.
Or limiting your options. You had mentioned free will, and I think that's so important.
Yes, because ultimately, we make our own choices.
We do.
So how does that all fit in?
It's all connected. Our
Yeah.
individual charts, our life experiences, the choices we make, those all contribute to, like, the unique tapestry of our relationships,
Yeah.
right? Numerology, it's like a guiding light, not a rule book.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's more about understanding the energies, you know, and using that awareness to help us navigate our relationships in a more, I don't know, clear and compassionate way.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up,
Yes.
there was one more pairing, the 5 and the 33.
Oh, yes. The master teacher.
The master teacher. It's definitely a pairing with immense potential, I'd say.
Yeah, what's the energy like there?
So the 33, super compassionate, very nurturing energy,
Okay.
often associated with this desire to help humanity, like on a grand scale, you know.
Yeah.
They're the visionaries, the healers, very purpose-driven.
And when you combine that with the 5, like their adventurous spirit, their desire to like experience and learn from the world, man, that sounds like a recipe for making a real difference.
Big things can happen with this pairing.
So the 5 helps the 33 ground those big visions.
Absolutely.
And the 33 helps the 5 connect with a deeper sense of purpose.
It's that beautiful exchange, right?
It is. It sounds powerful, but I have to imagine, like, there are challenges there too, right?
There are. The intensity of the 33, it could be a lot for a 5, especially if they haven't really, done their own inner work.
Right.
Because the 5, they love to, dance through life.
Yeah, light, carefree.
Exactly. And this is like asking them to put on hiking boots and climb a mountain.
Wow. Yeah, I get that. So it requires like a willingness to really dive deep, to be vulnerable.
100%, to really embrace that emotional connection and the growth that comes with it.
Wow. So much potential, but also like you need to be in the right place for it, you know?
Exactly, which is why exploring numerology is so powerful, right?
Yes.
It helps us understand who we are, our strengths, our challenges.
Yeah, it's like this roadmap,
Yeah.
To help us live a more fulfilling and meaningful life, would you say?
100%. 100%. It's not about changing who you are. It's about understanding your energy and using it consciously.
Love that. Well, this has been incredible, like really eye-opening to dive deep into the world of the 5.
Just scratch the surface.
Oh, no.
There's so much more to uncover.
There is. And for you listening, we encourage you to keep exploring. Don't be afraid to dive into your own numerology, See what you discover. Maybe look up your birth date, your life path number. See how those energies play out in your own life.
There are tons of resources out there.
Yeah.
Books, websites, even apps.
So consider this your official invitation. Embrace the wisdom of numerology. Use it to step into your power. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep embracing the magic of numbers.